A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Now is the great Congresswoman from New York, Nicole Malliotakis. Congresswoman, by the way, this just crossing now that bodega owners in New York are going to be adding panic buttons. They're doing a pilot program because crime is so bad. And if you look at the issues that are ahead, we were just talking about Mayorkas at the border, saying essentially what crime, and then you're hearing the streets. People who are on the streets are saying we're seeing the crime, whether it's border crime or common crime that's just happening in the stores like bodegas or on the subway. What do you think we're going to hear tomorrow night from the president as the former president's going to have to do a live fact check every 5 seconds, I think?
Yeah, look, I think either the Biden administration is completely disconnected with what's actually happening in cities across America as a direct result of their border policy, the 60-plus changes that the president made via executive order, or they're just lying to the American people, telling them that no, crime is not up. No, you're not having difficulty affording food and your mortgage. No, interest rates are not an issue. Inflation is no longer an issue. I mean, that's the reality is they want to say certain things and they want the American people to believe what they're saying, even when it defies logic in their every single day experience. And that is why I think people are not trustworthy, do not find this administration to be trustworthy, because everything that comes out of their mouths is the opposite of what Americans are seeing, experiencing, and reading about each and every day. And I'm glad people are seeing that there's a complete disconnect and that the Biden administration has just been completely dishonest.
Congresswoman, did you see also Mayorkas, the Homeland Security Secretary, did a big press conference, like they're claiming some victory lap of what a great job they've done at the border. And he actually said, he was asked by a whole bunch of reporters, because there's so many crimes of late, isn't it the policies of the Biden administration to blame for so many people crossing the border, that they can't be vetted? Some of the crimes we've seen, horrible crimes. And he said, quote, only the criminal is to blame, for, like the recent death of the poor girl, that beautiful girl in Texas, or Laken Riley. Like, they are not accepting one shred of responsibility. They're pointing the finger at the GOP, like alternate universe.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, because it was the Biden administration's very policies that allowed for these individuals to be released. Remember, border agents stopped them at the border, but they were directed by this administration, their policies, to release these individuals into the interior. That is why these young women, that 12-year-old girl, Jocelyn Nangari from Texas, are not alive today. It was Joe Biden who also granted parole in another situation where a young woman was murdered. And so it is a direct result of their policy. There's no way they can spin this. I mean, if people actually follow what policy these individuals were released on, it traces back to the executive orders of this president, as well as the directives that were put out by Secretary Mayorkas, which is why the House GOP voted to impeach Secretary Mayorkas, because we're so frustrated that they refuse to reverse these policies. It's clear as that. I mean, look, they put in place 60 executive orders. They can repeal them today. They choose not to. And so Americans are dying as a result, whether it be by murder, like these poor women that I highlighted today on the House floor in my speech, or by fentanyl because of the drug traffickers that are coming in, or these other victims of crime, like the 13-year-old girl raped in New York City by another illegal immigrant who, again, was caught and released into the interior because of Joe Biden's directives. That's who's to blame. It's his policies. And he could point to the Republicans all they want. Republicans are the ones that are fighting these policies and are demanding that he reverse them. And then when he refused to reverse them, we passed legislation to force him to reverse it. And Chuck Schumer's been sitting on it for over a year.
Yeah, well, at least it's a preview of what's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be like your head is going to be spinning. Everyone, we're talking to Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. Judge Weinberg.
Nicole, it's good to talk to you again. Let me ask you, how important is tomorrow night's debate in terms of the future of this country?
Look, it's very important. I hope that they stick to the issues and they don't start trading insults. Because we, the Republicans, President Trump, have the upper hand when you actually stick to the issues. There is a stark contrast between the policies of President Trump and the policies of this president, President Biden. We had a secure border. We had low inflation. We had low gas prices. We had low interest rates. Now we don't have any of those things. We have high energy prices, high gas prices. We have high interest rates, the highest in 2 decades, as a matter of fact. We have a totally wide open border, and you're seeing that play out on the streets of New York City, and you're seeing the tragedies that are occurring in the newspaper. And there is such a stark contrast, not just for the United States. Now imagine the world, right? We have not had a new war started under President Trump. Now we have 2 that we are supporting and are involved in because of President Biden's appeasement of adversaries. We went from peace through strength to appeasement of adversaries. It has made us weak on the world stage, and our allies are suffering as a result, and it's costing taxpayers a lot of money. So what I would say is that if he sticks to the actual issues of where we were under President Trump and where we are now, I think we come out of this ahead, and that should be his goal, is to remind the American people that this doesn't need to be. All right, this inability to afford to put food on the table, to put gas in your car, to get a mortgage, to pay for basic things.
By the way, did you see Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis? Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen was asked in an interview, do you have sticker shock like when you go to the grocery store, which I think everybody in America does? They have a heart attack, it feels like, She said no, and made up all these excuses. It's this sort of tone deafness. Like, I don't know of anybody who doesn't feel it when they go, whether it's to the grocery store or to the gas pump or look, new home sales are plummeting to their lowest level. I mean, this, since November, these are enormous issues, especially, for home buyers. How this disconnect, Trump has got to do a really effective job of showing that they are out of touch with what people are feeling and seeing.
They're out of touch, but worse, they're lying. They're telling you one thing and telling you that this is what you should believe, despite what is happening to you every single day. When you go to the grocery store, when you're walking in the street, if you feel less safe, when you're on the subway, when you're seeing these migrant shelters popping up over and over again. This never happened under the crisis that we see right now with the migrants. This has not happened under any other president, Republican or Democrat. Okay, this is only happening under the Biden administration, and it is because he put in place 60 policy changes via executive order. That's why it's happening. If people don't like it, then they need to vote this president out.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a choice.
Schumer won't. Yeah, they have a choice. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, we love having you here on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.